Welcome in to NESN Bets Kickoff. Travis Thomas here with my main man, Sam Panayotowicz, and we are looking at a Monday night game between the Lions and Raiders in 8 Mile. The D. Lions favored by 7 in this one, Sammy P.
We also must tell the story of how this line has moved, though, because last Sunday, not yesterday, last Sunday, this opened up Raiders plus 7.5.
That's right.
It got bet to 8 to 8.5. We saw it offshore at Lions minus 9. And that was holding steady until we learned 2 things. Number one, Jimmy Garoppolo is going to play.
Yes.
That helps the Raiders. So the line started to come back down. Then we saw the injury list for the Lions. Amon-Ra St. Brown is banged up. You've got issues on the line. David Montgomery is clearly still out. So here we go from 7.5 to 9 through the 7.5 to 7. We haven't seen this 7 in 6 days.
Sure.
The sharp money yesterday and today is on the underdog.
Okay, let's talk. Well, we talked about the roller coaster ride of the Lions, so let's give our plays here. I'm laying the 7 with the Lions. I didn't feel comfortable laying 9. I feel more comfortable laying 7, so I'm glad it's where it is now as we get close to game time here. But listen, I just actually think a blowout loss is a good thing in this case for the Lions. Most teams that get smoked the week before, you think, oh, here we go. Maybe they're a pretender as opposed to a contender. But look, the Lions, we all know their history. We don't even need to waste time talking about the Lions' history. But I think for this current iteration of the Lions, learning how to play against and win against elite teams is a work in progress. And so I think they were humbled by the Ravens. Good for them. Learn from it. Come back. You're at home. It's Monday night. The Raiders stink, Sammy P. I actually think the Lions win big tonight.
The Raiders have been better, though, and more competitive with Jimmy G.
Sure.
And that's sort of why I stayed off of Detroit. I know the books are going to need the Lions to not cover. You look at Garoppolo when he's a dog. Throughout his career, 18-6 at the window.
Yeah.
So 24 times he's been an underdog and covered 18 of 24.
Right.
That's impressive. I'm not touching side or total, though. My favorite bet in the game is Garoppolo completions over.
Oh.
So I need 22.5 over.
Okay.
He is the king of the check down, of the dink and dunk, the short pass. And then also, let's understand, if you get the rushing game going with Josh Jacobs, who led the league in rushing last year, it opens up the play action stuff down the field. So I think the Raiders can do enough to stay competitive. But I rather than bet them to cover or win, I like Jimmy G to have 23 completions or more.
Okay, look, that's your favorite prop bet, and we'll get into that because I have some better bets to go over for you. But for mine, I'm going to go Jahmyr Gibbs, anytime touchdowns, very juicy. But I just think, and you and I have been critical of the young man, to no fault of his in a sense. Sammy P and I have been saying, when is this guy going to do anything? I mean, he's a first-round pick, hasn't really done much, and we know how versatile he is. Now, whether it was a blowout last week to the Ravens or Montgomery having a great season, now he's out. I think finally this is Gibbs' chance really to be unleashed on Monday Night Football. I like him over for his rushing total, which we'll get into, receiving total, anytime touchdown. So I'm heavy on Jahmyr Gibbs tonight. Let's go. Better bet to go over. Let's go to the quarterbacks here. Jared Goff, 265.5, or Jimmy Garoppolo, 252.5. You talked about Garoppolo.
I like the lower number, 252.5. I do think he's going to throw for like 270 yards or so. Like the completions more, but of those 2 bets, Goff or Jimmy G over, I'll take Jimmy G.
Ironically, I like both of these, so I'll go Jimmy G because obviously he's a lower number. All right, how about the rushers? Jahmyr Gibbs, you heard me talking about him, 72.5, or Josh Jacobs, 58.5 yards.
I think that's disrespectful to Jacobs. I actually lean over on both guys.
Okay.
But Josh Jacobs could get 60 rolling out of bed.
Sure.
And this is a Lions defense that is much better pass rushing than run stuffing. So Josh Jacobs could break a big run. The problem with going under on Jacobs at 57.5, if he hits a 25 or 30-yard run,
which he can,
it's going to be very hard to keep this under.
Yeah, I mean, listen, both of these guys are explosive. I like the over for both as well. I'll go Gibbs here because I already told you I think he has a monster game. finally, and we see all the things he can do and all the tools he has in that toolbox. Receiving total now, Devontae Adams, 74.5 yards, or Jacoby Myers, Hello, old friend. 61.5 for him.
Adams.
Yeah.
You know, it's awesome to see Adams at that price at 74.5 yards, and then you look at Tyreek Hill,
sure.
88.5. When Justin Jefferson is healthy, 88.5. Jamar Chase, near that 90 range.
Yep.
The only reason Adams isn't higher is because he doesn't have a Pro Bowl quarterback.
Right.
For as much as I've talked about Jimmy G, he's just sort of a dude. I think he's closer to being a good dude than a bad dude.
Yeah, he's solid.
Break down my dude power ratings. But Davante Adams has #1 wide receiver skills.
Yeah.
He's one of the best receivers in this league. So to get him at only 74.5 feels cheap.
By the way, I've known Sammy P a long time. I am a #1 seed on the dude rankings, just so we're clear. All right, let's play a little fill in the blank, shall we? The Lions' leading yardage receiver tonight will be blank.
Sam Laporta.
Oh.
He has been, at times, the #1 target for Jared Goff. And I found this bet at DraftKings. They call it the race to X. You can bet the first receiver to 20, 30, 40, 50 yards. The first receiver to get 40 yards, Sam Laporta is 9-1 at DraftKings. We have seen him be the early weapon for Jared Goff, and he doesn't get those 3-yard outs.
No.
He gets those 10, 20-yard grabs.
Chunk plays.
I think that is a great bet, 9-1, that Laporta gets to 40 first before anybody else.
I keep talking him up. He better have a monster game here. I'm going Jahmyr Gibbs. And listen, it's a couple reasons. First of all, the versatility we understand out of the backfield. Also, Jared Goff can throw it down the field, as Sammy P's talking about those chunk plays. We see that with him. But he will also check it down. I mean, he'll kind of do what the defense gives him. Yep. And so I look at this Raiders defense, which is not very good, but one thing they can do is rush the passer. So I could see a lot of dink and dunking tonight to Gibbs because of his skill set and also because of that explosiveness. He could get loose on a couple of these and go the distance. So I'll take Gibbs. All right, another one. This game will hit the blank on 46.5 points.
I only have 2 options. You can't push with the hook.
Over.
I'm going to go under 46.5. This total opened 44.5. It's been bet up a little bit, but it never quite got to 47, one of the most key totals in the NFL.
Sure.
I think that this Raiders team is going to come to play tonight, 23-20, 24-21.
Okay.
So I'm not in the Lions cover camp, but I am in the under camp.
Okay. I'll go under because I don't really have a feel for this game. And when I don't have a feel for the total in a game, I just tail people that I trust, i.e. Sammy P, who is a #1 seed on my dude rankings as well. All right, viewer questions here. Let's go.
I love these.
With my man Dennis. He says, hit me with your top 3 anytime touchdown picks for this game. I mean, Dennis, bruh, we just gave out 1,000, okay? So, I mean, were you taking notes? If not, hit that rewind or something. I'm going to the next one. How about this? I'm not lying. He asked, I'm going over on Jimmy Mac Jones Garoppolo to throw a pick tonight. Who's coming with me?
I will not. It probably happens. I mean, it's a coin flip, maybe 55-45, yes. But I think Jimmy G is going to play a really good game tonight, so I will not bet that. And, Dennis, I'm not going to hold out on you.
Oh.
Here's a long shot.
It's not holding out.
Raiders defense or special teams.
Come on.
10-1. Anytime touchdown.
I just want to read this again. Jimmy Mac Jones Garoppolo. Wow. All right, how about Calvin J? Says, love the candy segment last week. Made me think, is candy corn the worst candy of all time? Is that the GOAT for the worst?
No, there are worse candies. Like a York peppermint patty.
I mean, I find those refreshing.
No, you don't.
Well, they're not good, but they help your breath in a time of need.
So rather than the mouthwash, you hit the York patty?
No, I'd hit the mouthwash, but if there is no mouthwash and there's a York peppermint patty, I mean, it'll help you out.
I think Almond Joys are awful, too.
I'm not an Almond Joy
That's in the team photo. Look, with candy corn, the trick to the candy corn is you throw it in a bowl, you go half parts candy corn and the other half peanuts. It tastes like a payday. You like payday?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not.
You didn't really sell me on the payday.
It's not really a candy guy.
It's not the worst of all time.
Yeah.
You think it is?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not a licorice guy, so licorice comes to mind, but I will acknowledge I understand a lot of people love licorice, and I haven't met really anyone. Have you met anyone that likes candy corn? Like they seeks it out. You have?
Seeks it out? No, but it is the official candy of Halloween. There are two candies, the official Halloween candies, Reese's Cups.
Yes.
And candy corn. I mean, it's orange, black, and yellow, both of them.
I'll say this. You can't be the GOAT at something if there's a ton of arguing. If there's a little bit of, LeBron, Mike, okay, maybe. But when it comes to candy corn, if you're naming 3 or 4 things, I have to defer to you here as not a candy guy. If you're naming 3 or 4 different candies here, I mean, clearly it's not the
When I was a kid, we rarely got the York patties, but when I did, I threw them right in the garbage.
Well, I think on that note, that's a wrap for us here on the NESN Bets Kickoff Show. For Travis Thomas and Sammy P, stay away from the York peppermint patties, apparently, and enjoy Monday Night Football.